Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 120 of our trip around the United States. 120 days for us marks what we would call the third place of our journey. That means that we are definitely making progress, and it is only fitting that the third mark of our journey is also the end of a state, because today is our last day touring the state of Iowa. By the end of the day, we'll be coming into Illinois, and we'll be starting Illinois for the next week. We're starting things off from here in Heritage Square in West Branch, the birthplace of President Herbert Hoover, the first president born west of the Mississippi. In just a moment, we're going to take you through the National Historic Site and show you the home he was born in and some interesting things around the area. After that, we're going to get started into our miles for today. For today, we have 330 miles to finish off the state. It's all going to be in this very southeast corner of Iowa. From where we are now, we're going to head west along the interstate, get a couple of counties that are outliers, head back east, and then drop south. Once we start dropping south, that's about it. We have one quick hop into Illinois today to grab a little tiny page slice, but that's it. We won't really be doing Illinois like we did yesterday. It's going to be an Iowa day through and through until we get to the end of this thing. We've got lots of good virtuals on the list. We've got several traditionals with favorite points, and it's the end of the road for another state. Looking forward to what today has in store, so without further ado, let's get it started. Come on, let's go.
We were thrilled to start this morning off at the Herbert Hoover National Historic Site. Herbert Clark Hoover was born August 10th, 1874 and served as the 31st President of the United States from 1929 to 1933. He became an orphan at the age of 9 after his father died of a heart attack and his mother passed away from pneumonia and typhoid. He is truly a self-made man, becoming one of the first graduates of the new Stanford University in 1895 before becoming wealthy as a mining engineer. Prior to his presidency, he served on the Wartime Commission for Relief in Belgium, the director of the U.S. Food Administration, and the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. He was born into a Quaker family in this small home within West Branch, Iowa. They did not have much, but his parents and neighbors instilled in him the Quaker principles of honesty and hard work that formed his strong beliefs in self-reliance and American individualism. In October of 1929, less than a year after he began his presidency, the stock market began to crash, signaling the beginning of the Great Depression. This was the worst depression that had ever occurred in United States history. With no clear precedents or guidance to follow, Hoover was torn between two clashing ideals, individualism and humanitarianism. He opted for humanitarianism, taking direct action to attempt to end the Great Depression. It was truly a difficult time to be president, but he did his best to help the people where he could, how he could, and when he could. And now he lays to rest here at this National Historic Site next to his wife and childhood home, honored by the people that he served. With a history lesson under our belt, I think it's well past time we go find some geocaches, don't you?
That sure is a pretty ammo can, isn't it? Let's see what's inside here. Incredibly glad to find this here though, because this is the only nearby county option. If this wasn't, it's going to be a long detour into the county to get something else. So this, one and done. Thank you. Yes. A geocaching dice. This is clearly homemade, but it's clever. I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and trade for this. This is a keeper.
When we started into the state a little over a week ago, it was still a half and half mix of cornfields and harvested fields, but as the week has progressed, more and more harvest has continued, until now, almost every single field lies bare, stripped of corn. It's gone. All the corn is gone. I saw one farmer this morning harvesting a crop, and he was halfway done. Beside that, Iowa, late October. And now we journey into Riverside, the final frontier. These are the voyages of Mag and I-Chun. Our continuing mission to explore strange new geocaches, to seek out new logbooks and stamp our names on them, to boldly go where no geocacher has gone before. The city of Riverside has uniquely claimed itself as the future birthplace of Captain James Tiberius Kirk, and the town has gone all in on celebrating themselves as his hometown. From the stamps on the post office wall to the Delta shields on the crosswalks and the local restaurants, everywhere you turn in town celebrates the fact that they are part of the Star Trek legacy. And if you have ever enjoyed an episode of Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek, then this is a place that you must come visit. And to sweeten the deal, the local History and Star Trek Museum is completely free.
Take us out nice and easy, Mr. Spock. Warp speed.
But how did a small town in Iowa become the official home of a fictional character? Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek series ran from 1966 through 1969. It was stated that the captain of the ship had been born in Iowa, but not where. Steve Miller, a former Riverside council member, seized on the opportunity and held a meeting with the other council members. Although many of those council members undoubtedly looked at him as if he'd lost his mind, they still voted unanimously to accept his proposal. And if you're gonna do something like this, then you might as well go all in. And the idea has clearly paid off. It has drawn many visitors to town, including William Shatner himself, the actor who originally played Captain Kirk. And still better yet, in the 2009 franchise reboot, Riverside was officially recognized as Kirk's hometown. It's not all make-believe though. They also recognize real heroes right here in Riverside as well.
And a military history section. This is definitely the flavor of museum for us. Great last day of Iowa.
And if you are here to geocache in Riverside, you can share in all the fun too, because there is a 3-stage multi going back all the way to 2003 that brings you to many of these great locations.
The terrain on this multi is rated 2.5. And on the first 2 stages, I was just thinking it's overrated, but nope, Coming up to the final, you're earning every bit of it out here. Sniff it out for me, Ai-Chen. It's supposed to be right around here. Well, looks like I beat you this time, Ai-Chen. This multi was definitely our adventure for the day. 3 stages, all good spots, and an ammo can at the end with quite the trek. It's possible that I've dropped my phone one too many times. The compass really doesn't want to work anymore, so it just points whatever direction it wants. It's up to me to know the difference between north, south, east, and west, which I actually have a pretty good sense of direction and have a good bearing on where north is. But what I've discovered is when we come into one of these more difficult spots like this, if I just let Ai-Chen off the leash and follow her, she will always go straight back to the car. She has a very good sense of direction for where it is. I just sometimes have to be patient while she smells everything along the way. Oh, but she is definitely tracking her way back to the car. Exact path we took on the way in. She's just got her nose to the ground, following along the way we took, figuring out how to get back to the car so she can rest. And there she is, crossing the finish line. Yep, I definitely know as long as I have her with me, I will always be able to find my way back to the car.
After returning from the Great Frontier, we made our way out to the Lover's Leap swinging bridge in Columbus Junction. And in case you were wondering why Ai-Chen and I crossed the bridge, well, to get to the geocache on the other side, of course. In fact, we can already see it just up ahead.
This is probably the coolest swinging bridge I've ever crossed before. And it definitely has the most bounce I've ever seen in a bridge before, too. The dog didn't like that.
She may not have liked all that bouncing, but she also knew it was the only way back to the car. And then we were into Burlington and back out again on our way to Illinois.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving park and grabs right now because time is running short and we need to get moving. And there's our crossing into Illinois. This is really going to be a quick one though. We're just going to hop across the bridge, go grab 1 or 2 finds, then come right back into Iowa. This is fully an Iowa day, and that's it. One and done. We were in and out of the county and Illinois in less than 10 minutes total.
Reaching Grandview, we would get to see our very last Veterans Memorial in the state of Iowa. This one is dedicated to all veterans who have served our nation, and the helicopter mounted here saw action during the Vietnam War. This is also the home of the Louisa County Freedom Rock, the final Freedom Rock that we will be seeing on this tour of the state. This rock features a scene from Andrew's raid during the Civil War. The raiders who survived were the first to be awarded the newly created Medal of Honor.
And that's a wrap for our sunlight, and we definitely did not manage to beat the sun today. Not entirely sure where most of our day went, but I'm willing to bet that a significant portion of it can be accounted to Riverside, and I was not willing to leave there any faster than I did, because we really enjoyed taking a trek back through time to the future to get to see the birthplace of the infamous Captain James T. Kirk. What a treat that was for our day. Right now we're shooting from the middle of the town square in Fairfield, and from here we still have another 4 counties to go to complete the state of Iowa. It's definitely going to be a long night because we've still got at least a good 3 or 4 hours to get there, which means we're going to be pushing a little past our normal schedule. But rest assured, tomorrow morning we are going to be starting off fresh in Illinois. Today is the last day of Iowa. We're going to wrap it up clean, no matter how long that ends up taking us. It was quite a journey through the state. We really enjoyed the Freedom Rocks. I wish we could have gotten to see more of them. Maybe it'll be something we do on our next trip when we come to pursue the Freedom Rock series. In general, it was a very nice time through the state though. What surprised me the most was that I was expecting to come into Iowa and see what I saw last time, which was rows and rows upon cornfields blocking the view of everything. Instead, what I saw was mostly harvested fields and farmers hard at work in the fields that weren't harvested until we got to today, where pretty much all the fields were harvested. So instead of those cornfields everywhere in the state, you could see over the top of everything for miles in pretty much every direction. And it really changed the whole perspective on the state. We had a good time here, and we're definitely still looking forward to having a good time in Illinois as well. Can't wait to show you the state. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.